Ekurole, I greet you in the evening after the setting of the sun. And Sheila Fiani, I pray that you are at peace and enjoying the portion of the blessings and Ire that you asked for in this destiny. I am the Elosha Apetibi Olaomi Akalatunde and the creatrix and um, CEO, I suppose, of the O'Shea Torah Institute. We can be found at www.o'sheatorahinstitute.com, OSHETURA Institute.com. And my mission with the Institute is to recondition, reclaim, and repair the African mind, the African thought process, the thought processes of African people. Our ancestors taught that upon our birth or rebirth into the physical realm, it was our duty. The reason we're chosen to re-enter the physical realm is to help to bring about the good condition. And the good condition is the time when there is no untimely death, when there is no sickness, when there is no poverty, there's no hunger, there's nothing that causes us to be overwhelmed. And so my part in assisting to do this is education. I'm an educator. That's what I was born as. I've been this way since I got here. And so I want to use my education to help to raise the vibration of Earth Mother back to what she should be. So hopefully we'll be able to move through doing this together. In the last class, we began speaking about the foundation of the African reality, of living in reality as opposed to fallacies or pretenses. And I made it clear that the majority of us are living within the demented thought processes of Greco-Roman madmen, Greco-Roman child molesting madmen, to be completely and totally correct. And instead of dealing with and living according to what we see, what we hear, what we taste, what we feel, what our bodies experience, which is reality, because this is what's real, we choose to live in the thought processes of these madmen because we've been socialized to believe that that madman's thought process is what is rational, is what is logical. And of course, logic somehow takes precedence over what you actually feel, what you actually experience, what has actually happened to you. So instead of living in reality, we find ourselves living constantly day to day within a fallacy. And this is something that we have to let go. And there is no coincidence that the term is fallacy and that it is similar to phallus, because it is the bastion of the patriarchy, which is killing us all, worldwide. The patriarchy is what is bringing the world down. It is not possible to live a loving, positive, prosperous life from a patriarchal perspective. So we dealt with that in the last videos. We're going to move forward. We're going to deal just a little bit more with the matriarchy, and then we're going to move into gaining an understanding of how our ancestors viewed life, how our ancestors viewed reality, which is vastly different from the way that we have been socialized to do so in this day and time. So I wanted to begin with dealing just a little bit more with the matriarchy, just to make sure that everyone was clear on that, what we hit upon in the last class. So one of the books that I mentioned in the last class was this book, Gala Day. Bring it up so that you can see it. It is Art and Female Power Among the Yoruba by Henry John Drull and Margaret Thompson Drull. And I don't think that I mentioned his name when I mentioned who the authors of the book were, but I didn't realize that it was him and her. I thought it was just her. And they begin by saying in the preface that the term Gala Day, the etymology of the term, reveals its central concepts. Ge means to soothe, to placate, to pet or coddle. Ele refers to the genitalia of a woman, and de means to soften with care or gentleness. So there is the Gala Day Festival. in Nigeria that has taken place since the beginning of time for our people. And in this festival, what they do is to pay homage to the ancient mothers. This is what this festival is for. It has not been given up for Christianity. It has not been given up for Islam. Colonialism and neo-colonialism have not been able to wipe it out, because the people say, if you do not placate, if you do not take care of the feminine, of the divine feminine, of the ancestral mother, then all will come to naught. The world will crumble. The world will cease to exist. And we should be able to look at our lives in the Western world and see that we are very rapidly ceasing to exist, because we're not taking care of the divine feminine. We're not coddling it. We're not petting it. We're not softening it or placating it. And therefore, our lives are becoming non-existent. We are moving more and more into just being a part of this fallacy, as opposed to being able to deal with what is actually real, what is reality. Okay. And I wanted to just completely quote what an elderly participant in the Gala Day Festival of 1971, which was the one that was watched and studied to write the book. And his name was Ogundipe. So his ancestors were worshippers of Ogun. And Ogundipe said, the Orisha of Gala Day are also called the great ancestral mothers, and the power of the great mother is manifold. The ancestors, when they had a problem, would assemble to determine the cause and the remedy. The great mother has power in many things. She is the owner of everything in the world. She owns you. So this is the reason that the Gala Day ritual continues, the Gala Day annual ritual. This is one of the masquerades for Gala Day, in which they dance to appease the ancestral mothers. A beautiful masquerade. Now, just to go a little further into the understanding of the ancestral mothers, I will quote a little bit of Odu. In the Yoruba tradition, we have an oral corpus that is an oral body of knowledge that has been written down, but it is traditionally oral and is taught from mouth to ear. And this corpus is called the Odu. Odu, as I said in the earlier video, is a term that means womb. So this is the womb of the memories, of the thought process, of the mindset, of the understanding of the Yoruba people. This is the Odu. And each Odu has a name, it has a vibration, it has a way that it moves in the world. So the Odu that we're going to deal with now is Osameji. And Osameji is an Odu that explains the role of women. And I am quoting my book at this time, which is Ona Agbani, The Ancient Path. It can be found on my website, oceantourinstitute.com, and it can also be found on amazon.com under Akalatunde, A-K-A-L-A-T-U-N-D-E. So Osameji says to Odu, you are their mother forever. She's speaking of the entire world, and you will also sustain the world. It was then that Olodumare gave women the power and authority, so that anything that one wished to do, they could not dare to do it successfully without women. Odu said that everything that people would want to do, if they did not include women, it would not be possible. Oba Orisha said that people should always respect women greatly, for if they always respect women greatly, the world will be in right order. And Osameji goes on to say, bend your knee to woman, for it is woman who brought you into the world. It is woman who recognized you before you were recognized as a human being. Bend your knee to woman. So this is the ancient African understanding of women, of Obiri. There is no original sin understanding of women. There is no thought process or tradition of women bringing evil or wickedness into the world. But by the same token, we have this view coming from Western mythological thought of men being abusive and jealous and domineering and controlling. And this comes from the Western God concept. And neither does that view exist in a traditional African thought process, for traditional African mindset. That is not the nature of man. That is not the nature of masculinity, of Okunin, which is what our ancestors called the masculine human being. That's not your true nature. It's not your divine nature. So you don't have to act that story out. You don't have to act out that mad Greco-Roman fallacy. You can be yourself, which is a person that's just as loving, just as caring, just as peaceful as what you've been taught the feminine being is supposed to be. So we're going to break here for just a moment so that I don't go over my YouTube time. And then we're going to come back and we're going to deal with the nature of where we live and where life takes place. All right, give thanks.